What's up, y'all? Welcome to my analysis on this Virgin Galactic's play right here. Okay. Obviously, there's been a lot of noise in the market, and we're going to get into that in a second. The stock price jumped up about 41%, and it's creating all this chaos because Virgin Galactic is supposed to be launching its first flight between June 27th and June 30th. Sorry, first commercial flights. But the first one's going to be to conduct research, and don't quote me on this, just look it up. I think it's with the Italian Air Force. Now let's jump onto my desktop. You can see right here, the stock jumped up about 40% on Friday, I want to say. And that was because obviously, the news came out that they were going to be, launching their first commercial flights, which was right here between June 27th and June 30th. All right, so let's look a little deeper into this. I know a few things caught my attention, and one of them was that the market sentiment is kind of high right now, and the retail investor side, everyone basically has their eyes on this because obviously no one wants to miss something that could be potentially rewarding in the end, right? So for me, I wanted to dive a little deeper into it before I got a position. And I started to look at this before I actually took a spot in it and have a position in it. And I'm going to show you where my risk to reward ratio is and why I was comfortable with this trade. This isn't for you to go ahead and go buy this. I'm just bringing the information to you. If I miss anything or if I say anything wrong, go ahead and correct me. I learn from everybody, and hopefully I do the same and teach everybody a few things too. I'm looking at their price to book mark right here, which is 364. And all that means is that based on what the company's spreadsheet is and financials, this is what the stock price should probably be around, right? That's the valuation for it. The next thing was I went over to Wall Street Bets, and mind you guys, I don't just follow stocks on Wall Street Bets. I do this to see what people are saying about it, just to see the sentiment, and obviously it woke a lot of people up on here. And what I want to point out to you is don't be this guy. Life savings in call, please fly again. Don't put your life savings, don't go empty the bank and put all your money into this, right? If you want to be a part of it, I would suggest you put a little piece of it in, right? So again, this is all for you to, do your own research and figure out if, this makes sense to you or not, right? So pretty much the retail market is, here saying, okay, could be a beautiful short squeeze, and they're betting on squeezing the shorts out of their position, meaning they'll have to buy back their shares if the stock does not go down, which is going to cause it to rise higher, right? So let's go right here. So I saw this scrolling through Virgin Galactic Reddit, and this guy has a good position because I believe, well, I don't know what his call is right now. Let me not say that because, your option or call price changes per contract. So let me not say that. But some people are saying they're not selling until 375. It hits 375. That's a little wild to me. I don't think it'll, go to that. But I was watching this dude's video, and he was actually live streaming his enter point, and the stock was going up as he was watching it basically. And I'm not really into live streaming my positions or anything like that, but let's see what this guy said.
Where I live, and I'm going nowhere, and as I speak, look what's happening. I didn't sell my position. News, press. He just said it's official. June the 15th announces start a commercial flight.
Mind you guys, I don't ever try to predict the market or try to, say it's gonna go to this point or this point. I try to just find a good place to enter, so I can get at the bottom, the nearest to the bottom of the entry level, or what seems right to me. All right, and we're gonna get into technicals in a second, but like I just wanted to show you that. So, and I never downplay or bash anybody, because like, you know, if they made money on that, like, good for them. You can't be mad at somebody that found a play or held on to a play for so long, or stopped for so long, and then, you know, it finally panned out for them. So good on him for that. Yeah, so that's enough for this. The things that kind of worried me a little was this right here. So came to an article and I read something that said Virgin Galactic has a cash problem, which is a few things I highlighted, which is Virgin Galactic burned through 139 million cash in Q1, yet describes cash position as still strong with 874 million in the bank at the end of the quarter. Okay, so another thing to note is that they expect to burn further 130 million to 140 million in the second quarter. At that rate, if they keep burning money like this, they're obviously that 874 in the bank is going to diminish down to, you know, whatever it comes out to. So the next thing was to follow up a successful revenue generating commercial space flight in June with similar flights twice a month. Every month through the end of this year, its total revenue from 13 flights would be 19.5 million. Now that's nowhere near enough to like cover for, you know, the cash burn that they're, you know, doing every quarter. Like, let me see. However, to completely offset 120 million to 130 million in cash burn, the company would need to be flying closer to 80 flights per quarter, bringing in 120 million in revenue. That means they have to be flying over 80 flights every quarter to be profitable. So basically that's two flights every 3 days rather than 2 flights every month, which is what they're doing now. Even if Virgin Galactic had enough customers for that, it probably wouldn't be feasible for a company that has only 2 space planes and that needs to replace its engines after each flight. Now, I work on a jet and I know how much them engines cost. I just don't know how much those engines cost. Now, mind you, they're going to space for like what, like maybe an hour and some change just to come back down. To me, I think we can agree like it wouldn't be worth it. 450 grand for an hour of, you know, into orbital space just to come back down. I mean, it sounds cool and all that, but to me, it wouldn't be worth it. I'd rather invest my money somewhere else. The next thing I did was, now, okay, so here's my position. I bought out long past June 27th and June 30th. My calls are out to July 7th. That means I'm giving the stock time to build up momentum just in case like it does take off. I'm gonna give it time. You know, like I bought it almost a month out or 3 weeks out. And whether it like falls down a little bit, you know, I'm fine with that because it still has up until the dates that the commercial flights take off. And for me, I think like this is gonna attract retail investors because the FOMO and, you know, things of that, even though, as people would say, let the FOMO flow through you. You don't want to be stuck out there holding the bag. Buy a stock at a certain price point and then it comes down and then, you know, it never goes back. And now you're just like stuck. I'm giving it that time for people to start buying and see what the stock does up until the flights take off. I have this pulled up, Finviz, and you can see that we had reached a multiple bottom right here. And you can see it touches 1, 2, 3. Now, normally bouncing off of a triple bottom shows that it's like bullish off of that. I also see like inverse head and shoulders right here, and we'll get into that in a second. That kind of helped me get into my position. We come down here to the short float, you can see it's at 24%. And I have this for you right here so you know exactly what it is. And this is what Wall Street Bets is doing because their whole mindset is like, let's burn the shorts. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes that can happen. Like it can like force the stock to squeeze and rise, and then shorts lose a lot of money because they have to purchase their shares at, you know, a higher price, being that the stock left and it's not going down no more because they're betting on the stock going down. So basically, short interest as percentage of float above 20% is extremely high. Now, mind you, this stock right now currently is at 24%. A high short interest percentage means a large number of all the stock's outstanding shares are being sold short. The number of shares short should be greater than 5 times the average daily volume, the shares short as percentage of the float should be greater than 10%. Now that's doubling 10%, right? Because it's at 24%. Now that we looked at all that, let's go to the technicals. Nobody can predict the stock market. So if the stick market, nobody can predict it. So if someone says, you know, it's going here, whatever, like take it with a grain of salt, okay? But I'm on TradingView right now, looking at the daily, right? And let's go all the way out real quick. The highest this stock has ever been was around 62.75 back in, let's see, February 2021, right? So as you can see, it's starting to like curl back up and it's showing all the signs of a reversal, right? Remember that triple bottom we saw on FinBiz? So I started looking at this the day of before I got into the trade. And obviously I didn't want to get into the trade at the top. Stocks just don't go straight up. You know, they go up, calm down a little bit, find a level of support, and then they go back up, right? And then, so I was looking at that, I went back into the 15-minute chart. All right, so this was the morning, Friday, where it spiked up to around 650, right? So, and then it opened up and then just kind of like fizzled down. And I'm just like, okay, that's perfect. I'm gonna see like where, you know, where I could get in this trade at. So basically I looked at this and then I came to this indicator right here, which is called your visible range of volume profile. And I realized that 474 is where this said that it gained control. So this red line that comes out of this visible range volume profile is your point of control. And right here is where I got in at 472. Now, it was up here, right? And you can see that all this volume up here, it kind of like started getting weaker. So there was really nothing to continue pushing it up. It actually started to come back down. And you can see right here, more volume came in and then it stopped right here. Tried to find a level, but it failed. And then it just regained this from 12 o'clock all the way to close, where I got in right here. And it showed that most volume was being traded at this level. So this is the new level of support as of market close on Friday. So for me, I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, well, most stocks when they fall like that, they at least retrace 50%. And that's not all the time. Just around, I don't know, like maybe 70-80% of the time. At least that's what like works for me and what I found. So pretty much I went ahead and, where's it at? I went ahead and assumed that price was trading in between here. So 461 to like 481 in that range, right? Then I took out my long position tool and I was like, okay, well, I entered around 473, right? And I'm expecting it to at least test 650, right? And my stop loss would be at the lowest wick right here. So if I'm feeling like really froggy, then I'll give it like another like, you know, maybe 5%. But normally 5 to 10% is my max if I'm, you know, feeling like it will turn around and, you know, it's showing signs of reversal, right? So I want to give it time to do so. So basically, if price were to go back up from 473 to, let's say 650, it'd be 37% return, right? And I'm fine with that. So I'm gonna show you guys something in a second. Here we go. So it'll be about 9,800. I have 28 contracts out to July 7th, so you guys can do the math. To me, that's a great return on investment. Now, if it went up to, let's say like it just shot up to 948, you know, it went up like 100% from 474. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it'll be $14,000 once I sold all my contracts, right? So let's continue pressing forward with this. So I saw that and I was like, yeah, I think like it's worth like me, you know, I could play it safe and have a stop loss here or at 5 to 10%. I don't go past that. Don't go past that. One thing I do want to point out is that this can actually come down to retest 330 area, possibly down to $3 before it actually goes up. For me, that's why I gave it some wiggle room out to July 7th, just to, give it time to run up if it did run up. Now, would I go long on this company? Would I go short? I wouldn't do either. I'm just going for the short term play right now. I wouldn't go short either because it's kind of risky. We've seen it happen in GME, GameStop, AMC, where shorts got squeezed out. People lost millions. Yeah, just have an entry and an exit plan. And for me, when it's marked up like this, as long as it's on paper and I can see where my stop loss is and my max profit target, I'm okay with the trade. I also noticed when I went out to the daily that we had this multiple bottom touch, like what we saw with pretty much on Finviz, where we saw that. And then if you guys can see, there's an inverse head and shoulders, like right here. I'm gonna hide this real quick. So it goes, let's see if I can draw this out for you. If you don't see it already, I'm gonna help you see it. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Inverse head and shoulders shows that price is bullish long term, because this is the daily too. So this won't just like happen overnight, you know what I mean? So this is why we got calls out to July when the flight takes off. Let's go right back to the 15, and we're giving it to, like, we can spread this out all the way to July. We have till July 7th for it to get to where I want it to go. And this would be like my max price target right now, which is 650. Now, let's say it did like just blow past that, right? And it came to the next point of resistance, which would be, okay, 662, which is the next highest point that it kind of just gave out. We can see that it would be around this level that it would have to break. Okay, then after that, it would be this level right here, around 740-ish. And then we'll have this gap fill right here around 853. So that would be like my first take profit at 650. And then it would be around 740, 750. And then it would be at 853, right? So that's pretty much what I'm looking for. It could like go crazy and just, short squeeze and fill this gap right here, 950, and possibly even get up here if it's just like goes parabolic. So these are like kind of the levels I'm looking for, but immediately I'm looking for 650 retrace based on all the interest. All right, and then down here you can see the MACD is crossing, and then also if you look right here, you got the 20-day crossing over the 50-day right at market close. One last look at this right here. Let's just zoom all the way out. And you can see that this stock is currently curling right now. So if we just went to curve, you can see you got 1 point. Actually, let's just go to right here, 650 level. You can see it's curling. All right, so that's kind of like how I was looking at the stock, and it's just like a speculative play. Like, this isn't anything in stone. Like, this is just how I see it right now. All right, and my risk to reward ratio is okay with me. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, that little breakdown. We'll see how this plays out. Who knows where it's gonna go leading up to the first commercial flights, but we shall see. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video. I do have a Discord group. You can join it if you want. I have a free section in there too. Like, most of these videos go into my Discord for free. Like, I just teach you guys how to do this stuff, like markup charts and how to do your research and things like that. Yeah, that's about it. All my social media will be right here. and I will catch you guys in the next video. I'm gone.